One of the main reasons that the demonetization move was put into motion was because it would choke the terror economy. But has it really? 1 week later, we do a reality check and find that not only has the terror tap been cut off in Kashmir, but also in the Naxal strongholds of Bastar and Ranchi. Here's a ground report.
These dense forests hold many secrets. In the Naxal belt of Bastar, these jungles have served as safe hideouts of Maoist finances. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi's surprise ban on 500 and 1,000 banknotes has rendered the Maoist cash buried underground in these woods useless. A stunning blow to Naxal funding. Chhattisgarh's police claim that insurgents have hidden a sum as high as 7,500 crore rupees in these dense forests. Security forces are now mounting intensive vigil on entry points to these villages. Police believe that the secretive Naxal leadership could be forced to reveal their financial hideouts. The Maoists fund their activities primarily from extortion of contractors and illegal mining mafia. Red terror funding is similarly hit in Jharkhand. An estimate by the Home Ministry suggests that Naxals extract 320 crore rupees every year. But the hunt for illegal cash could be compounded by the fact that forests aren't the only hideouts. Cash for funding red terror is also believed to be with the overground sympathizers residing in cities.
क्योंकि वो करोड़ों रुपए की लेवी लेते हैं, जाहिर तौर पर यहाँ माइनिंग बहुत है और इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बहुत सारा आ रहा है और एक डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमी है.
On the flip side, the administration believes that the cash crunch could make Naxals desperate and make ATMs in the red corridor a possible target.
वास्तव में नक्सली आतंकवाद पर इस पर रोक लगेगा और काले धन कई ऐसी जगहों पर भी है जिसको लोग काफी दबाने का भी प्रयास, छिपाने का भी प्रयास कर रहे हैं.
The war on black money has several far-reaching consequences. A final, deadly blow to red terror could be one of them. With Sunil Namdev in Bastar and Dharmendra Sinha in Ranchi, Bureau Report, India Today.
In fact, the government is quite clear that the terror tap has been cut off after demonetization. In fact, Manohar Parrikar, the Raksha Mantri, even said that there is a considerable calm in the valley after this measure was put in place.
तो काय पैशाच्या आर्थिक सपोर्ट शिवाय चालत नाही. आम्ही त्याला आमच्या भाषेत टेरर फंडिंग म्हणतो. दगड मारायला 500 रुपये, आणखी काय करायला 1000 रुपये असे रेट लागलेले आहेत. काही वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट तो पैसे आणतात, या पैशामध्ये प्रिंट केलेल्या फेक नोटा पण असतात. त्यामुळे मी संरक्षण मंत्री म्हणून प्रधानमंत्र्यांचे सगळ्यात पहिल्यांदा आभार मानले की तुम्ही एका फटक्यात सगळ्या फेक नोटा काढून टाकल्या आणि टेरर फंडिंग झिरोवर आणले.
This particular decision being announced that the Prime Minister has given a deadly body blow to those people who are supplying the fake Indian currency notes as well as those who are involving in the terror funding. So it's a historical step, and this will break the bonds of the terrorist organizations and the people who are funding behind the cartel.
We are receiving evidences in the last few days. It has made a difference in Jammu and Kashmir and also in Northeast, the other area which I am dealing with in my official capacity. In fact, there was a report yesterday, let me now confirm it. A group of terrorists left about 40 lakh rupees, abandoned it in Assam and fled away. So I think the pinch is now beginning to appear.
So in two critical areas, terror funding has been badly hit. The Naxal economy and those who are funding the stone pelters and extremist organizations in Kashmir as well. Is this really happening on the ground? How sustainable is it? Joining us now are two gentlemen who both know exactly how things work. We've got retired Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal, who's a former Northern Army commander. He's joining us live on 8 p.m, as is Dr. Ajay Kumar, now spokesperson of the Congress, but has also been a senior police officer in Jharkhand before that. Let me ask you, General Jaswal, the first question that would come to mind is, when the new currency is brought in, can that not again start fueling the terror economy? So how feasible is this move really, and what really is the magnitude of the crackdown on terror funding?
You see, the magnitude of supply earlier was enormous, and the tactical mobilization which is to take place in terms of stone throwers, etc., it did manifest in a greater measure. To say that it will not start off again, well, I don't think that would be right. But as of now, the denominations are going to be of 500 and 2,000 rupees. Now, once they come into circulation, it will take some time for that much money to be mustered so that it can be circulated. But however, you see, like we are printing these notes, like earlier they were also, the Pakistanis of printing counterfeit notes. It's a matter of time they will start printing once again. So it's only a question of time, but for the time being, I think the tactical mobilization of people has absolutely been decimated. It's a great move. And like the MOS had said, that I have served in Assam and commanded the corps there. There's a lot of money floating around with the Alpha and the entire northeast area. Now they also, the money they have collected has also become defunct. So it has definitely had a very salutary effect for the time being. But over a period of time, I personally feel that it will once again start off.
But tell me, General Jaswal, is it as simplistic as that? Because we had the defense minister say earlier that since the time demonetization has happened, there has been calm in the valley. And it's a fact. Yes, some schools have reopened. We also have the exams, the board exams that have been started. But is it as simplistic as that to make that direct correlation?
No, he's right. He's right. You see, people over there, I won't use the word I would say we, all along, even when I was there doing stone throwing. We have been saying there are specific people, they were utilizing two techniques to mobilize the crowds. One, by paying the money, 50 bucks for every stone thrower. Now I believe they raised it to 500. Second was the fear of retribution, that if you don't join us, we're going to kill your chap, your family. So both these factors were being used, and money was a greater attraction as of now, because if they start killing their own people, there's one good thing in insurgency, that once you start killing your own people for small petty things, the crowd, the populace turns against you. So that was only a fair part of it. The prosecution part of it had not taken place. So now money, which was the main attraction, youth getting 500 rupees just to participate in a hujum, that has gone down, and the defense minister has correctly said it has got a correlation.
Okay, Dr. Ajay Kumar, let me ask you then, as someone who has served extensively in Jharkhand, do you think that for one, this is, at least for the time being, completely cut off the funding for the Naxals?
So, Padmaja, the question again is, I think the defense minister has, tried to belittle the problem by making it something of such a, easy, quick fix solution. The first question is, most of the money which they levy is from contractors, from mines and people who run mines, and there's been an extensive report, and I'm also going to quote something whom I normally would, I read a lot from Vivekananda Foundation, which actually is very pre-BJP think tank. But what they did a decent report and said that most of the money gets generated through mines, gets generated through government contracts. Now the question is, the Naxals for all these years have a very extensive, front network organization. So how the money gets transferred is ridiculous to believe that they are going to collect it in trucks and in 500 rupees and 1,000 rupees notes. That's not the way these guys operate. They have frontal organizations. It gets transferred by check. They have a very extensive network. So to believe that, and most of it gets spent on arms and ammunition. So there would be obviously some operational challenges like demonetization of cash. If it's affecting 95% of the people of this country, it will obviously affect some people. But please remember, in the rural areas, Padmaja, the question again is, are we also aware that if, let's imagine for a minute that the Naxals have some cash, and I believe that it will be very small, would they force the villagers to use the Jan Dhan Yojana? These are issues which we need to think.
And the second issue is, I feel that the defense ministers actually try to make a mockery of, because the issue is, so many Naxal raids have happened over these past so many years, right from independence and all. So many Naxal outfits have been busted. What is the cash component which has been seized? The question is, they have a very good network of, parking their funds, whether it's the Tendu contractors, the government contractors, and they are front organizations. So to believe
that question to General Jaswal, and it's a valid question because there are overground workers. So won't this kosher money from the overground workers then similarly be used? It's just a question of where the money is coming from. So this is only token then, this gesture.
You're asking me, Padmaja?
Yes, sir.
Could you repeat? I lost the...
The point Ajay Kumar was making was that you've got front organizations, you've got overground workers, 2.5 lakh rupees is enough to help them sustain till the time the fresh currency is brought into their funding network. So then what is this going to serve, this entire move? What purpose is it going to solve?
No, Mr. Ajay has got a lot of experience in Jharkhand. You cannot compare what is going on, say, in Kashmir, because there are two different facets of the modus vivendi. But notwithstanding, the fact is that the money which was being circulated in 500 rupee notes is defunct now. So if they don't get money, they will not be able to operate. So for the time being, it has had a salutary effect. Yes, once again they will start finding new methodologies, new modus vivendis to once again start the tactical mobilization.
No, but General Jaswal's point was different. His point is you don't necessarily need this cash which is buried underground. You will have legit cash, kosher money with people who are overground workers. So the cash flow will continue.
You see, it is not enough. The cash flow will continue, but not in that kind of enormity. The cash flow will continue, but to mobilize large crowds, you require a tremendous amount of money. And the overground workers, after all, they're also going to deplete their stocks. From where are they going to be getting the money? So temporarily, as a matter of fact, the entire momentum has been brought into a stage of inertia, I'll call.
Dr. Ajay Kumar?
Temporarily, it has definitely been decimated, in my opinion.
Yes, I think what General Prasad said is very, very valid. And the question again is, but I'm looking at, the pictures of the Reddy wedding in Bangalore, and they were able to mobilize 50,000 guests and that kind of wedding. So they're able to mobilize people for weddings, despite all the demonetization. So what the question again comes is, we must be very, very alert to these issues. The issue is that the funding front organization of terrorist organizations, all these people in Kashmir, I agree to a large extent what is that to get youths involved, and if they were funding them, I don't know how much of the money was being put, only they were being paid. That's an issue which the army experts are much more knowledgeable, and I would concede on that. My knowledge on that is limited.
And in principle, you will agree though that there is evidence on the ground that you have had the funding cut off, which is why suddenly the stone throwing has reduced, as the defense minister was saying, Dr. Ajay Kumar.
It's a very what you call specious argument there, because when there were no stone throwings earlier, was it because the funding was reduced? Because the correlation, it may be a coincidence. I don't know whether the correlation is it doesn't give the defense minister, and I know he's an intelligent man, but when he speaks I get a little worried on the way he speaks. Is that how do you, when there were no stone throwing in Kashmir, then there was no money, so for so many years there was no money. I think right now the issue is that if the stone throwing, and by the way, Mirza Farooq was released and then rearrested. There were discussions of the government. So those are initiatives which the state government and the local army and the security forces has been taking. So I'm saying that if there was a taking steps there, getting the people involved, and suddenly the defense minister says lack of black money, lack of cash, two things you're doing. One is that you're belittling the initiative on the ground there. So we don't know what's happening.
Okay.
What I know is that, and the other issue which I'll just finish off, I won't take too much of your time. I'll say as far as the Naxal issues go, and I keep telling the same thing, the Naxals have a very, very strong frontal end mobilization methodology. To believe that they carry cash around in their dalams is absolutely false. because over the period of time, no cash has been to a significant extent. So we need to hit out at them instead of belittling them. And I'll finish off with the same Vivekananda Foundation report. Says in Calcutta, they have 10,000 people as their front end in the city of Calcutta. So, so turning around money, deposit in Jantar Yojana, have we made it more tech savvy and more dangerous? Those are questions we need to be careful. And I really believe that we should go after wherever there has been excess deposits of money in in so-called frontal organizations.
All right, Dr. Ajay Kumar, even if you say that making that comparison, that correlation is very simplistic, or at least you are conceding that things have calmed down somewhat in the valley. Final question to you, General Jaswal. Now that this dent has been made to the terror funding, how can one close in on it once and for all to ensure that they don't grow again? What should be the next step for the government?
You see, what Dr. Ajay has said, he has conveyed in a very subtle manner that's not only the money part of it, and he's absolutely right. There is a stamina, this mobilization stamina was there, and ultimately it had to peter off because it was having a lot of effect on the civil population, on the business, etc. So the stamina was also petering off, and the final, knockout blow was the cutting of the money supply which was there. Now, as far as what the government should do is, of course, we have to make sure that no counterfeit money comes in again. Easier said than done. Extremely, extremely difficult. Because such like contingencies, Pakistan will definitely cater for. If in case it could happen in Iran when the Shah was overthrown, well, over here too they can have any amount of money printed. They may not get the exact note, but it's very difficult to make a check on that for a common person. So it's a matter of time. Money will start coming in again. What we have to do is we have to identify those chaps who are actually doing the money laundering. Who are the chaps? They're good. Earlier they were doing stone throwing. They got just about 40 people. Now I believe there are about 250 people who are mobilizing. These are the people. They are to be picked up. If they are picked up, the mobilization, the momentum, that will be stalled straight away. Money circulation, it's a matter of time. It'll come back as per my predilection.
All right. For now, General Jaswal and Ajay Kumar, Dr. Ajay Kumar, thank you very much for having joined us on 8 p.m. We'll keep an eye on this particular story.